Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into the new sci-fi action film War Machine. Think about your classic 80s action hero, right? Only this time, instead of fighting bad guys in a skyscraper, he's up against a full-blown alien invasion. Let's get into it. And really, that's the core question that drives this whole story. We're following a soldier named Alan who is just completely driven by this promise he made. A promise that's going to push him way beyond any normal human limit and force him to face not just some alien threat, but his own personal demons too. So let's rewind a bit. Our story kicks off 2 years ago, way out in the mountains of Kandahar, Afghanistan. And it's right here where one single tragic event happens that basically sets everything in motion for our hero. Okay, so you've got Alan and his younger brother, Jay. And these two have this incredible bond. They're not just brothers, they share this huge dream. Jay is dead set on them becoming elite Army Rangers. And after a little convincing, Alan's all in. They're going to do it together. But you know how these stories go. That moment of hope, it's usually the calm before a very, very big storm. And that storm hits hard. It's a sudden Taliban ambush that just tears their convoy apart. Alan gets badly wounded, but when he finally makes it over to Jay, it's too late. His brother's gone. And in that moment, just completely wrecked by grief and guilt, Alan makes this solemn vow that's going to define his entire life. He will become a ranger for both of them.
All right, flash forward 2 years. We find Alan smack in the middle of this ridiculously grueling program called the Ranger Assessment and Selection Program, or RASP for short. And this is where that promise he made is going to get pushed to its absolute breaking point, testing not just his body, but his mind.
Physically, Alan is just an absolute beast. He doesn't just pass every challenge, he dominates them, leaving his instructors and the other soldiers totally speechless. I mean, get this, during one underwater test, he literally refuses to quit and passes out from lack of oxygen rather than drop his weights. He's not really performing like a man anymore, he's like a machine. But here's the thing. While his body is this unbeatable weapon, his mind is still fighting a war all its own. The trauma from Afghanistan has left him with some serious PTSD. He's quiet, he's isolated, and he is totally cut off from his team. He's basically a lone wolf in a place that demands you be part of the pack. Now, his superiors, Major Sheridan and Sergeant Torres, they see this, and it's a huge red flag. They respect his physical prowess, but they know his mental state is a massive liability. They pull him aside and pretty much tell him, look, you're the best we've ever seen, but you need to quit. And they give him this really stark warning. Even a machine has a breaking point. But Alan isn't quitting. No way. He made a promise. So he gets selected for the final phase of RASP. And in a pretty ironic twist, the instructors make him the team leader. They force him to do the one thing he's been avoiding, lead and communicate. The mission itself sounds pretty standard, for a final test. They've got to hike through some remote mountains, rescue survivors from a fake plane crash, and avoid a pretend enemy force. Everything is simulated, their guns are just dummies, it's all just a game. Or so they think. As the team's heading out, this weird detail pops up. The news is going on about a meteor shower that's supposed to pass super close to Earth. And sure enough, that night, the whole squad sees these bright, fiery objects just streaking across the sky, shaking the ground as they pass. The next morning, things get really weird. Their compasses are just spinning wildly, the radios are full of this bizarre static, and the crash site is nowhere near where it's supposed to be. And when they finally do find it, that wreckage does not look like any airplane they've ever seen. It looks alien. So the team moves in, still thinking this is just some crazy, elaborate test. They go to plant their dummy explosives on this weird object to destroy it. But instead of a pretend bang, the object itself starts to shift and move and wake up. The whole thing just unfolds, transforming into this heavily armed walking robot. It scans the soldiers, IDs them as a threat, and just opens fire with very real, very lethal force. Yeah, the training exercise just became terrifyingly real. This is absolutely not a drill. The robot's got plasma cannons and railguns that just shred right through the soldiers. It stalks them through the forest with this terrifying skill, kind of like the Predator. And now it makes sense why their gear failed. The machine puts out this powerful magnetic field that jams all their tech. This is not a test. It is a straight-up slaughter. All this chaos, the ambush, seeing his men die, It throws Alan right back to that horrible day his brother was killed. But this time, something's different. Instead of freezing up with guilt, he's spurred into action. He absolutely refuses to let history repeat itself. He is not leaving another man behind, especially his wounded number 2, a guy they just call number 7. So Alan switches from being the hunted to the hunter. He comes up with this absolutely brilliant plan. First, he uses a flare to bait the machine into a construction site. Then he fights machine with machine, hopping into a giant excavator to go toe-to-toe with this thing. In the middle of the fight, he spots its weakness, a heat vent. Finally, he shoves the robot under a rock crusher, jamming its vents with gravel and causing it to overheat and explode from the inside. Just incredible.
Against all odds, Alan has defeated this unbeatable machine. He rescues the wounded number 7 and starts the long haul back to base. And for the first time in 2 years, he can feel that crushing weight of guilt finally start to lift. He saved his man. And on the way back, in this really profound moment, number 7 wakes up and reveals that he actually knew Alan's brother Jay. They served together. He even knew who Alan was from all the stories Jay used to tell. It's this moment of closure Alan never thought he'd get, connecting his past guilt with what he just did. But when they finally get back to base, the true, horrifying scale of what's happening becomes clear. Major Sheridan tells them that the meteor shower, it wasn't a meteor shower. It was a coordinated global invasion. Those things they saw were landing all over the world, unleashing machines just like the one Alan somehow managed to beat. Sheridan asks the million-dollar question, how? How, when the whole world is failing to stop these things, did Alan take one down all by himself? And Alan just repeats the Major's own words right back to him. Every machine has a limit. He explains the robot's fatal flaw, that ventilation system, giving humanity its first real shot at fighting back. And in that moment, as the world is bracing for this new war, Alan is officially recognized. The sergeant makes it crystal clear. He is a ranger. He has finally, against all possible odds, fulfilled the promise he made to his brother. So, Alan's personal mission? It's complete. He's honored his brother, he's found his redemption. But his reward is a brand new, seemingly impossible assignment: lead the fight against this worldwide alien threat. He might have won his personal battle, but for him, and for all of us, the real war has only just begun.